Today's thought experiment sounds like an idea for a very strange vacation. How long could a nuclear submarine last in Earth orbit? The first thing that comes to mind is a scene from a Hollywood movie. In a vacuum, the boat should immediately explode from internal pressure. But reality, as always, is much more interesting. The hull of a nuclear submarine is an engineering masterpiece designed to withstand the monstrous pressure of water at great depths, reaching up to 80 atmospheres. The air pressure inside, at just 1 atmosphere, is a mere pinprick for such a structure, so no, it will not explode. All right, then maybe the crew will run out of air? No, not that either. Nuclear submarines are closed ecosystems. They don't store air, they produce it. Special systems use electrolysis to split water into hydrogen and oxygen, providing the crew with oxygen to breathe. Other systems, chemical scrubbers, endlessly absorb carbon dioxide. As long as the boat has power and water, it will not run out of air. But there's no water in space. Correct, and that means the oxygen production system is useless. The crew would depend on emergency reserves of compressed oxygen. Those would last for a few days, maybe a week, but the submarine itself would last much longer. So what would be the main problem? A lack of energy? Definitely not. On board is a 200-megawatt nuclear reactor. That's enough to power a small city. Its fuel will last for decades of continuous operation. So we have a sturdy hull that isn't afraid of a vacuum and a nearly infinite source of power. It seems our space submarine could fly forever, but it is in its greatest strength, the nuclear reactor, that its main and fatal vulnerability lies. The problem isn't that it produces energy, the problem is that it produces heat, about 100 megawatts of heat that must be constantly dissipated. Underwater, this problem is solved with brilliant simplicity. The boat uses the endless volume of the cold ocean as a giant radiator, pumping seawater through its cooling system. But in space, there is no water. Space, contrary to perception, is not a cold, but a very warm place for any object that generates heat. Yes, the temperature of space itself is close to absolute zero, but a vacuum is a perfect insulator, just like a thermos. You cannot transfer heat through convection or conduction because there is no matter around to transfer it to. The only way to cool down in space is through thermal radiation. Any object radiates energy in the form of infrared rays. This is how spacecraft cool down using large radiator panels. But a submarine was not designed for this. Its hull is made to retain heat, not to radiate it. Without a cooling system, 100 megawatts of excess energy will begin to accumulate inside. The temperature in the reactor compartment and then throughout the entire boat will rise at a rate of about ½ degree Celsius per minute. In less than an hour, the inside will be hotter than a sauna, and after a few hours, the metal will begin to melt. The safety systems will, of course, shut down the reactor, but that won't help. Even after shutdown, the residual heat from the decay of radioactive elements will continue to heat the boat. A nuclear meltdown is inevitable. The space odyssey of our submarine will end in a nuclear catastrophe within a few hours, not years. So the answer to the question is, not long. But what if we wanted to return? The boat has no braking thrusters, but it has something better. Ballistic missiles. If you turn them around in their launch tubes and fire them in the direction of travel, their rocket thrust will begin to slow the submarine down. Calculations show that a salvo of all 24 Trident missiles would be just enough to lower the orbit and send the submarine into the atmosphere. However, the submarine itself is completely aero-undynamic. Upon entering the dense layers of the atmosphere at hypersonic speed, it will begin to tumble and break apart, burning up like a meteor. So even if you decide to embark on such a journey, don't forget the most important thing: disable the detonators on the nuclear warheads.